OPOstories from the NBA, next episode. My today guest is Kendall Gill. Hello, Kendall.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. I'm really happy that you are in my podcast. You are a part of Seattle SuperSonics from the 90s and New Jersey Nets as well. So I'm really happy about our conversation. And as usually at the beginning of the interview, I ask about the past and the really beginning with the basketball. So I'm just curious, how looks the outside basketball courts in Chicago in the 70s and 80s when you were a kid and teen? And did everyone want to be like Mike and in Chicago Bulls?
Yeah, I really was not a basketball fan the first 10 years of my life. I was actually a baseball player, football player, and a boxer. And I did not pick up basketball until my family moved from the city of Chicago to the suburbs. Once that happened, I picked up the game, and Michael came around 1984, which was my sophomore year in high school. So when he came, it only took about 4 or 5 games before everybody wanted to be like Mike. He took the city by storm. We had never seen anything like Michael Jordan. I knew what he was because I had followed college basketball, but a lot of people in the city of Chicago who really hadn't watched North Carolina or watched college basketball or watched the Olympics for that matter didn't really know how good Michael Jordan was. I did, but when he came here, everybody was like, "Wow, we have a superstar here." So set the city on fire, and they're still reaping benefits even to this day from Michael Jordan being on the team.
Mm-hmm. And your whole the really early journey with the basketball is connected with Illinois, and you were playing at the University of Illinois, and in the team which was called Flying Illini. Yes, that's right, with Nick Anderson and other 3 future NBA players.
Right.
You were in the Final Four, almost in the final game. Was this time and this March Madness from that 1989 is one of your top memories from your basketball career?
Yeah, this is definitely one of my top memories, especially when we beat Syracuse to go to the Final Four. I can remember the final horn going off and me laying on the floor, realizing that I had just achieved the dream that I had set for myself since I started playing basketball, since I was 10 years old. I always wanted to play in the Final Four, and now it was finally here. That was the best memory I've had in basketball. Haven't had a feeling like that in basketball ever since.
And from your perspective as a player, is it possible somehow to compare this atmosphere, which is at the NCAA games, to the NBA? Is it similar, or is it something totally different?
It's something totally different because in the NCAA, it's one and done. You're out. If you lose, you're gone. So the anxiety is a lot more. And say, for instance, in the NBA playoffs, you have 7-game series. So you know that if you lose this game, you got another one where you can make up for it. That's why the anxiety isn't as high unless it gets to a game 7 in the NBA playoffs. In college basketball, once you get in a tournament, it's do or die. If you happen to have an off night that night, you're probably going home.
That's right. And as you mentioned, it was one of your dream which came true. Another was for sure NBA Draft 1990 edition when you were picked with 5th overall pick by Charlotte Hornets. What did surprise you the most when you appear in the NBA?
The speed of the game. I was surprised by how fast and strong everybody was. I had experienced it when I went from high school to college, but now in the pros, everybody is fast. Everybody is strong, and It's just the skill level and the basketball IQ that separates the guys, because most everybody else, um, they have the same talent level. They have the same physical attributes that you have. It's just that the guys that are the smartest, the guys that are in the best shape, the guys that have the most skills, those are the guys that are going to be the most successful.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I talk, for example, with Bruno Sundov about his rookie season, he mentioned that it took some time to gain respect from veterans and the other teammates. How it looks your journey and your cooperation with your teammates?
Yeah, I got the respect of my teammates early, because they knew I could play. I wasn't a guy that was going to come in and be a project. I could already play with them. Coming out of college, I spent 4 years in college, so I was 22 years old. When I walked in, and it didn't take me long to get the respect. I still had to carry bags as a rookie. I still had to do all the rookie stuff, but the veterans respected me.
Mm-hmm. Also, in the Hornets at that time played Muggsy Bogues, one of the best assisting player in the NBA history.
Yeah.
Not tall, but with the great heart and also this ability and overlook at the court. How is it to play with this such a great passing player when you've got him in the team? Is it easier for you?
Yeah, no, it was great to play with Muggsy because he made everything easy for you. He put the basketball right where you wanted it to go. He would not pass it to you too early. He would not pass it to you too late. He would pass it to you on time. And he was a great floor general. I think Muggsy Bogues actually should be in the Hall of Fame because of, his stature at 5'3", and he was so effective in what he did. And, his ability to stay in the league that long, and be a productive player for so many years.
Mm-hmm. And also your start in the NBA was really good because you finished with 82 played games. Also, you got the nomination to the All-Rookie First Team. And for sure, it shows that you're the right person and on the right way to be for the long time in the league. But how it looks from your perspective and relation with the other players? Was there more situation when the veterans or players from the other teams came to you and say, nice game, I see that you will stay here longer, or more like in the next game, we will kick your ass?
Yeah, no, I remember being in Portland and me standing at the free throw line, and Clyde Drexler says, "You know what? You're my favorite rookie this year."
Okay.
I said, "Well, thank you." That's when I really knew that I had the respect of the veterans, because that's Clyde Drexler, man. He said, hey, he respects me, so I really appreciated that about him.
Mm-hmm. And how do you remember your first game against Michael Jordan?
You know what? I don't remember. But I remember my first game against Patrick Ewing in the New York Knicks, but I don't remember playing against Michael for the first time. But I can remember playing against Michael. And you're talking about playing against a guy that has no weaknesses. And not only does he not have any weaknesses, he also plays in the best offense in basketball history, the triangle offense. So not only are you playing against perhaps the greatest NBA player of all time, but you're playing against that offense too, which makes your job 4 times as hard as guarding any other NBA player. Michael was just on another planet, skill-wise, competitive-wise, physically, he was on another level. So, in my opinion, there's nobody else in his class.
You said that you remember your first game against Knicks and Patrick Ewing. Is it a good or bad memory?
It was good. It was the first game of my career. I had 18 points against the New York Knicks. I remember the first shot I ever took, it was over Patrick Ewing. It was a jump shot at the top of the key. And I took it, boom, it went in. And I was like, man, this is going to be easy. But little did I know, I had a long road ahead of me.
But season by season, you establish your position in the NBA. Second season, 91, 99. You improved for sure the game, and also you've scored more points from 11 to 20.5.
Yeah.
But in most improved player voting, you've got 8th position with Grant Long and Sarunas Masculinas. Disappointed with that result?
No, I wasn't really disappointed with the result. Being a young player, they probably were not going to give the most improved player to a young guy. They probably were going to give that to a veteran. I felt I should have got most improved player my 7th year, when I averaged right around 22 points a game,
yes,
6
21.8.
Yeah, that's when I thought I should have got most improved player. I thought I should have been an all-star that year too. I thought the not that year, but the following year when I led the league for steals and set the record for steals in the game, I thought I should have been on the all-defensive team, but I didn't get that either. But those are the things that I was disappointed about.
Yeah, so as you mentioned about this all-defensive team, I remember you as a player with great and tremendous stealing ability. When we look at your stats from the career, you've got 1.6 steals per game in 966 games. So it's a really good start. And even once you haven't been in all-defensive team, why?
I have no idea. I ask myself that question all the time, and I felt like I was one of the best defensive players in the league the whole 15 years I was there. I always got votes for it, but never got on the all defensive team, and it's that's something that still, even in retirement, that still bugs me. I see all these guys getting all defense, and I knew that guy couldn't play like I did. So, but just have to accept it. Those are the cards that I was dealt. And, hopefully one day if my son is able to go to the NBA, he can get all those awards for me.
You've got an aim to do in the Gill family.
That's right.
Trade to Seattle. Did you expect that move?
Yeah, I expected it. Being in Seattle was great. Loved the city, loved the fans there. However, I always felt like I was a Charlotte Hornet. During the free agent process, my agent wanted me to go around and look at other teams and all that. But really, I wanted to sign back with the Charlotte Hornets. That's what I really wanted to do. We go to Seattle, we get an offer, and I'm still kind of balking at the offer. I still don't want to leave Charlotte. Okay, but in the last minute, people would my representation was saying, "Listen, you're going to be the highest paid guard in the league." Back then, it was 7 years, $28 million, which is nothing now. But I was like, "Okay, I'll sign it." And even when I was signing the contract, in the back of my mind, I was saying, "Don't do it." Nothing. It had nothing to do with Seattle, the team, my teammates there, or the city. It's just that I really wanted to go back to Charlotte. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But when I did go to Seattle, I had a great first year there. We won 63 games. I played well. And, the city was rocking. The fans were great. It's just unfortunate that we were the first #1 seed to lose to the 8th seed.
Yes, it was, I guess, tough series for you and for the whole team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It was very tough. I mean, because we expected to win the NBA championship that year. Our team won 63 games. We were loaded. We had great players at every position, and we had run through the league. It was winning 63 games. So Uh, that was a really disappointing moment in my career when Dikembe Mutombo was holding the basketball over his head after the Denver Nuggets beat us. Because we know that Denver's going to lose in the next round. We know that these 5 games that they played us, we knew it was a fluke. And the best team didn't win, but they won it, and we had to give them credit, and we had to go and lick our wounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As I remember, Seattle SuperSonics from the 90s, once it was Hall of Fame coach George Karl, for sure those alley-oops from Gary Payton to Sean Kemp. And I'm really curious, especially about Gary Payton. Did Gary was the most talkative player you played against and with?
He's one of them. He's one of them. I mean, but that's Gary. He's from Oakland, California. I mean, he loves to talk. He's confident, but a good guy. A lot of people see sometimes the scowl on his face when he's playing and everything. That's just intensity, And Gary and I came out the same year. Gary was the 2nd pick in the draft. I was the 5th pick in the draft, and we've been friends ever since we were in college. I loved playing with him. Loved his bravado. Loved how he talked smack to all of the players that we were playing against. And, it was just my time around Gary. It was well spent. I'm glad I did it.
Mm-hmm. And you both were really good in this stealing aspect. And did you learn from each other how to be better in this aspect, or what is the secret of being successful in this aspect?
Well, stealing the ball is an art. You have to learn how to anticipate. You have to learn when to go for the steal, because sometimes everybody thinks it's you just got to go crazy and try to steal the ball every time. No, you have to wait. You have to be a marksman, and because you have some guys that are going for steals all the time and they get beat on defense. You can't sacrifice team defense just because you want to get a steal. So in that regard, there is an art to it. Like I said, anticipation, playing passing lanes, ripping the ball from somebody when they have it in the area in which you need to steal the basketball. If they have the ball in front of them, they have the ball over their head right here, excellent time to steal the basketball. Another time is when they get ready to dribble, when the ball is leaving their hand, okay, on the dribble, that's when you go for it. A lot of people try to steal it when they have the ball in their hand. No, you got to, when the ball leaves their hand like this, like that, that's when you go for the steal. But if you don't know, if you're not a master at stealing the basketball, you don't know that. So those are all of the different nuances that both Gary and I knew.
Mm-hmm. So Hornets was for sure the team in which you feel like at home and also want to stay. In Seattle, you find another place where you feel very good. What about New Jersey Nets? You've got the best season in your career.
Yeah, love my time in New Jersey. I only had one playoff run in 6 years there, but it was well worth it. I got a chance to have the best season of my career there. I played under John Calipari for a number of years. Got a chance to live in New York City for 6 years, which I loved. I lived on 43rd and 11th Avenue in Manhattan. I really got a chance to grow up with that team. Was the captain of the team for 6 years, was the leader of the team. So my time there was well spent. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. And how it was to come back to Chicago and being Bulls player?
It was great because I finally got a chance to play in my hometown. My family got a chance to see me play all the time. I got a chance to wear the uniform that I had grown up watching on TV all those years, and got a chance to play in the United Center. So it was a very, very good experience. It was. And now here it is, 16 years post-retirement. I've been a broadcaster for the Chicago Bulls for 16 years. So, it turned out to be a great experience for me.
Mm-hmm. And if you could create the all-time Kendall Gill teammates team, who would you pick? If it's really difficult, you could choose by pure talent and the second by relation.
Am I okay? So does this include high school, college, pro?
Could be.
Okay. Well, I'll stick to pros. Gary Payton at point guard. No, I'm sorry. Rod Strickland at point guard. Larry Johnson, power forward. Alonzo Mourning, center. Me at the 2 guard. Detlef Shrimp at small forward.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So that would be my starting 5.
Very nice all-star caliber team. It's great. And when you also mention about this after life after NBA that you are broadcaster in Chicago Bulls, I know from the social media that you find a new passion that is boxing. And
yes.
Do you've got the same emotion when you are boxing like it was when you playing basketball on the court?
It's a little bit different. The emotion is heightened because sometimes you can have an off day in basketball. Cannot have an off day in boxing because if you do, you'll get knocked out and you'll get hurt. So the emotions are a lot higher. The anxiety is a lot higher. You're in there by yourself. You cannot call a timeout if you get tired. You cannot call a timeout if you get hurt. You have to make it through those 3 minutes. So it's a lot tougher. Boxing is both mentally and physically. You have to be in a lot better shape, because as basketball players, we're in great shape. We're in elite physical condition. But for boxing, you got to take it to a whole different level. It's people don't know how hard boxing is. Boxing is a hard sport. As the old saying goes, you do not play boxing. You can play other sports, but you can't play boxing, and they're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And last but not least, today is the third anniversary of the tragic death of Kobe Bryant and Gigi. How it was to play against Kobe?
Kobe was workaholic, attention to detail. He studied Michael Jordan so much. It was like playing against Michael Jordan, whenever I played against Kobe. His need to be the best he could be was evident every time I played against him. You could tell he was totally there. He was totally zeroed in. He was not any place else but right where he was. You see what I mean? And totally focused on doing what he needed to do in order to win, in order to be the best. He was hyper focused, and that's how the great players are. They're hyper focused on what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Kobe was.
And it also Kobe, when you've got a good game or good action on the court, did he say something like, "Yeah, it was good"? How you did it? Can you learn me on something like this?
He asked me once, "How do I steal the basketball?" But I wouldn't tell him. I wouldn't tell him. I told him I'll tell you another time, but we never got around to that time. But I just like Michael Jordan or Kobe wouldn't give me their secrets, I'm not going to give them mine either. Because if I give you my secrets, you might break my record.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that to happen. So that's why I didn't do it.
So what about giving secrets to your teammates? Because your current teammate could be your opponent in the next season or even during that season.
Never give a secret to it. I won't give them to my teammates. Won't give them to my opponents. So I've had the opportunity to study great players now that I've been retired. Studied myself compared to their games. A lot of things that MJ was doing, Michael Jordan, by the way, I did not see when I was playing against him, but I see everything that he's doing now. And, I'm trying to pass that along to my son so that he incorporates that into his basketball game. Because if you can do what the greatest to have ever done it can do, then you become that. Perfect example was Kobe. He copied everything Michael Jordan did. Added his own things in there as well. But most of his game was Michael Jordan, and all of the things that he did. And look how it turned out for him. Okay, he turned out to be one of the greatest players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're close to Chicago Bulls. Let it be the last question, the current your situation in your career as a broadcaster. You've got the chance to be at the workouts of the team and to give some advices to players like Alex Caruso, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the one thing I like to tell Alex is, take it easy sometimes because he plays so hard, he gets hurt all the time. But Alex has done a great job defensively. I think he's one of the best in the league. He does so much for the Bulls as the anchor of their defense. He plays passing lanes. He gets deflections. I think he's third in the league in deflections at this point. He takes on the toughest scorer each and every night. So there's really not too much advice I could give him. The only advice I would give him is keep doing what you're doing. And when you do that, good things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kendall, thank you very much for our conversation. It was really nice, especially for me as a amateur player who loves defense, to give us some hints about stealing. And yes, the second one, I agree, it works when you are on the court. So it was nice to hear about your career and your boxing and also being around Chicago Bulls. So thank you very much for being my guest.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.